Hi student, welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video, we will try to find answers to the questions like what are chemical changes, how to identify whether the chemical change has occurred, and how to write a balanced chemical equation of a given chemical reaction. We will have some introduction about the chemical reaction. Then we will check the physical changes associated with the chemical reactions. Next, we will have a look at the prerequisites necessary for writing the chemical equation. Lastly, we will discuss the various steps involved in writing a chemical reaction. So, let us start quickly. In class 9, you have learned that every matter around us is made up of some substances. These substances are made up of small particles, and these different particles are made up of invisible molecules of same or different elements. The size of these molecules is in the range of nanometers, that is 10 to the power minus 9 meter. Now let us discuss what do we mean by physical change. In a physical change, mixing or separation of same or different kind of particle takes place. No new particle is formed. In physical changes, the interaction takes place at the particle level or molecular level. The force of interaction between the different molecules or the same kind of molecules is either increased or reduced. Now let us discuss some examples. First example is melting of ice. Now in melting of ice, only the state of water is changing from solid to liquid. Particle in both the cases are the same, that is the water particles. Only the forces between the molecule of water changes. These forces are stronger in ice and weaker in water. Let us consider the next example, cutting of wood. In cutting of wood, only the one group of wood particle is separated from the other group of wood particle. No new particle is formed, so it was obvious in previous case of melting of ice also. No new particle was formed. Let us consider the third and last example, mixing of salt and water. This you might have tried at your home while making lemon water or lemon juice. When we add salt to the water, the resultant has a taste of both salt and water. So I can say that no new substance is formed. The characteristic or the properties of all the initial ingredient, salt as well as water, are retained. Here only the force between the molecules of salt and water is increased. As a result, we are unable to see the salt particle and water particle differently. They look like as one. There is a homogeneous appearance. This you have also learned in detail in class 9. Let us move forward and try to understand what are chemical changes. In chemical changes, bonding or separation of same or different atom takes place, resulting in the formation of the new type of particle. In chemical changes, the bonds are either made or broken between the atoms so that there is a formation of new type of particle. The result of a chemical reaction may not possess any characteristic or properties of the initial substance available. The new particles or substance formed will have altogether different properties. So here we can say that new type of particle is formed, whereas in physical changes no new particle was formed. Let us try to understand the chemical changes in detail with few examples. Let us consider first example, that is turning of milk into curd. This example you might have seen practically at your home many a times. Now let us try to understand in detail. At the start, a few drops of vinegar is added, vinegar or maybe lemon juice is added to the milk, warm milk, and is kept overnight. What do you see early in the morning in that bowl? You see that in place of the milk there is curd. Now let us discuss the property of the substance at the start and the property of the substance at the end. At the start, we had milk, which is liquid in state, sweet in taste. At the end, we had curd, which is sour in taste, and it is gel-like substance. It is not purely liquid. It is semi-solid type. Thus, we can say that a new substance is formed. This changes takes place due to the fermentation of the milk. We will discuss this process of fermentation of the milk into curd in some separate videos. Now let us move ahead to the next example, that is ripening of fruit. This is a natural chemical process which occurs naturally on the tree fruit, or it can also be done artificially. Now let us discuss what we had at the start of the ripening of fruit and what we had at the end of ripening of fruit. At the start, we have raw fruit, which has hard covering, which is sour in taste, whereas ripened fruit, which has thin soft covering, and it is sweet in taste. Also, the color of the raw fruit is green, whereas the color of ripened fruit may differ from fruit to fruit. So here also, what we are getting at the end of the chemical reaction, ripening process, is an altogether different thing as compared to the initial substance available to us. Next, we will discuss the rusting of iron. You might have seen the rusting of iron many a times, especially in rainy season, when the iron surface interact with the atmosphere and the moisture in the atmosphere, and rust is formed on the surface of the iron. This rust basically consists of the iron oxide, which is in a powdered form. Iron, which is a material available at the start of the reaction, is solid and has high tensile strength. What it is taking from the atmosphere is the water vapor and oxygen and CO2, which are in gaseous form. They combine and form rust, which is basically a mixture of iron oxide. Now, iron oxide is in powdered form. Iron has luster, whereas iron oxide doesn't have any luster. Iron has high tensile strength, whereas rusting of iron does not have any high tensile strength. Thus, we can again say that a new kind of substance is formed. From this above example, it is amply clear that in a chemical reaction, new substances are formed. Also, one more thing to notice. These reactions are irreversible, means you cannot convert again curd into milk. You cannot convert ripened fruit into raw fruit again. You cannot convert rust of iron into pure iron again. Now let us discuss the physical changes associated with the chemical reaction. Change in color. A chemical reaction may be associated with a change in color. For example, in corrosion of copper, the color changes from reddish brown, that is the color of copper, to green, that is the color of cuprous hydroxide. Next, Change in smell. A chemical reaction may be associated with a change in smell. You might have seen the difference in the smell of a fresh egg and rotten egg. The rotting of egg results in the change in smell of the egg. Change in temperature. Chemical reaction may be associated with the change in temperature also. A chemical reaction may be associated with a change in temperature. For example, mixing of quicklime, that is calcium oxide or commonly known as tuna, with water results in the increase in temperature of the solution. That's the reason why tuna is not normally mixed in water with hands. Normally a wooden stick is used for mixing them. Change in state. A chemical reaction may also be associated with change in state. For example, ammonia gas, when it reacts with hydrochloride gas, it produces ammonium chloride. Ammonia and hydrochloride are in gaseous state, whereas the end product, ammonium chloride, is in solid state. Lastly, evolution of gas. A chemical reaction may also be associated with the evolution of gas. For example, when mixture of powdered sodium carbonate and edible acid, mainly citric acid, is added to water, effervescence, that is the rising of bubble, is observed. This bubble are produced due to the release of carbon dioxide gas. You might have observed this reaction when ENO is added to water. There are many other physical changes associated with the chemical reactions, but above are the four main physical changes associated with them. Moving ahead, before learning to write a balanced chemical equation of a given reaction, we must know certain basic things which you have learned in class 9. First, the symbol of various elements. This is the table 3.1 of your class 9 science textbook. This table must be by-hearted by you. You can add symbols of more elements to it to make it more informative. Next is the valency of various elements and polyatomic ions. This is the table 3.6 of your class 9th science textbook. I hope you must be remembering it completely. Lastly, writing correct molecular formula of simple chemical compounds. If you are unable to write correct chemical formula of simple compounds, you might not be able to write correct balanced chemical equations. So my advice to you will be to again practice this topic of your class 9 syllabus first. Now we will discuss the various steps involved in writing a balanced chemical equation. But first, we must be familiar with some terms like reactant, product. Reactant. These are the chemical compounds available at the start of the reaction. Products. These are the chemical compounds available at the end of the reaction. A chemical reaction always obeys the law of conservation of mass. By this law, we mean that mass can neither be created nor be destroyed in any chemical reaction. I will specifically say that for chemical reaction, the total number and the kind of different atoms in reactant together is equal to the total number and kind of different atoms in product together. So let us start with the various steps involved in writing the balanced chemical equation. The first is writing the word equation. In this, in place of a sentence, we write a equation in form of the words, that is, in place of the chemical compounds we will write their names. Next is the skeletal equation. In word equation we will replace the chemical compound name with their chemical formula, correct chemical formula. Next is balancing the equation. This is the most crucial part of the balanced chemical equation. In this, we will multiply the reactant or product with natural numbers such that the total number of atoms and the different kind of atoms in reactant together is equal to the total number of atoms and different kind of atom in product. We cannot multiply the reactant or product by any decimal number, any irrational number. We can only multiply the reactant and product formulae by only and only natural numbers. Also, we cannot change the formula of the reactants and products. Next, after balancing the chemical equation, we can make it more informative by writing various informations like state, writing the state of various reactants, whether they are in solid state, liquid state, gaseous state, or they are in aqueous state. Various conditions necessary for the reaction to take place, whether heat is required for the reaction to take place, whether the light is necessary for reaction to take place. For example, the photosynthesis reaction cannot occur without the presence of sunlight. Next is catalyst. Now catalyst is I think a new word for you. Now let us understand what do we mean by catalyst. Catalyst is a substance which is necessary for a chemical reaction to take place, but it does not take part in the reaction. On a lighter side, I always give an example to my students that बच्चों जब आपके घर पे आपके पापा नहीं होते हैं तो आप बिल्कुल फ्रीली और कैजुअली रहते हो. जैसे ही आपके पापा आ जाते हैं आप बिल्कुल एकदम डिसिप्लिन बच्चे की तरह रहने लगते हो. आपके पापा आपसे एक शब्द भी नहीं कहते बट फिर भी आप ऑटोमेटिकली डिसिप्लिन हो जाते हो. सिर्फ उनके प्रेजेंस से ही आप डिसिप्लिन हो जाते हो. मीन्स योर फादर इज एक्टिंग लाइक ए कैटलिस्ट. He does not tell you to be disciplined, but you automatically get disciplined. So, coming back to our scientific knowledge, an example of catalyst will be chlorophyll. Chlorophyll does not take part in a photosynthesis reaction, but it is essential for the photosynthesis reaction to take place. Now let us consider the balancing of chemical equation using an example. Solutions of barium chloride and sodium sulfate in water react to give insoluble barium sulfate and the solution of sodium chloride. Now in this statement, we have been given with solution of barium chloride and sodium sulfate in water. Now we will discuss what do we mean by solution in water at the end of this slide, end of this discussion. But first, it is amply clear that at the start of the reaction, we have two things. That is the solution of barium chloride and solution of sodium sulfate. So these are our reactants. Now we can start writing the word equation, that is barium chloride plus sodium sulfate will give us what we are getting. We are getting insoluble barium sulfate. Now what do we mean by insoluble? That we will also discuss at the end of this slide. And the solution of sodium chloride. Now the solution of sodium chloride. So our products are barium sulfate and sodium chloride. Now this forms our word equation. Next we will move on to the skeletal equation. In skeletal equation, we replaces the name of the compound in word equation by their molecular formula. So these two things are a reactant and these two things are a product. Now replacing the word equation by the skeletal equation, we will replace the barium chloride by its formula BaCl2. Next we are replacing sodium sulfate by Na2SO4. It is the chemical formula of sodium sulfate. Next replacing barium sulfate by its formula BaSO4 and similarly NaCl. Now how to find the molecular formula of this compound you have learned in your class 9, which I have just discussed in previous slides. So please go through this and you ensure that you are writing the correct chemical formula at this junction. Otherwise we will not be able to balance the chemical equation correctly. Next, here we have to check whether the equation is balanced or not. How we can check that? I have also earlier talked that if an equation is balanced, then the number of atoms, total number of atoms, and the kind of different atom in the reactant must be equal to that in the product. So for checking this thing, we will draw a table. And what kind of table? Of three columns, having three columns. First column will be the different elements present in the reactants or products, then number of atoms. Second column, number of atoms in reactant. Third column, number of atoms in product. Now we are checking first atom, barium. Now it is clearly balanced because in both reactant and product we are having one atom of barium and one atom of barium. Next, sulfur, we are again having one atom of sulfur. Then oxygen, four atoms of oxygen in both reactant and product. But what we can see here is chlorine and sodium. There are two atoms of chlorine and sodium in reactant, whereas there is only one atom of chlorine and sodium in the product. So how we can balance this? Now we have to focus only on the compound containing sodium or chlorine or both. We cannot decrease the number of atoms in the reactant, so we have to only focus on the products. Which products? Products containing sodium, chlorine or both. So let us move ahead and try to balance this thing. No need to change in reactant, so reactants will be same as it is. Now in the product, no need to change BaSO4 because it is not containing sodium and chlorine or any one of them. Now in NaCl, here we can do the change. What change we will do? We have to increase the number of sodium and chlorine both. We have to increase it 2, make it 2. So we will multiply this complete compound by 2. Now again let us check how many total atoms of different kind of atoms are there in reactant and product. Now here we can clearly see that we have balanced this thing which was unbalanced earlier. Both chlorine and 2 in the reactant and product, 2 in the reactant and product is the sodium atom. So we have just now balanced this equation. Now my last point in discussing the balancing of chemical equation was making the chemical equation more informative. How we can make it more informative? Here I have told that the solutions, what do we mean by solution of the salt in water? Means the solution of the various compound in water can also be termed as the aqueous solution. Can also be termed as the aqueous solution. So we will, in subscript, we will write BaCl aqueous. It is its state. Then next, again sodium sulfate is also a solution in water. Here we will write again as aqueous. Now barium sulfate, it is insoluble. It will not be soluble in water. So insoluble things in water remain as it is. So it will be in the solid powdered form. So this will be displayed as solid and we also call it as precipitate. Next, solution of sodium chloride, we can write it as aqueous. There are no special condition required for this reaction, so we have written nothing on this arrow. If there would be any special condition, this special condition would be written above or below the arrow. Thank you for watching my video. If you liked my video, please subscribe to my channel to get the notification of my new video.